Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at Marman playing cards from designer P.F. Vanderberg. This deck was released on Kickstarter and started its life as a series of hand-drawn pieces of artwork from Vanderberg himself. The drawings were of the Marman. It's a fictional group of fish people that play a central role in a fantasy story that Vanderberg himself is writing called The Water Guardian. It's an interesting theme for the cards, but let's see how it comes to life in the deck itself. All right, starting out with the tuck case. It's just a regular glossy finish tuck case, very standard, nothing too special embossing or anything like that on here. It's all done in this green background in kind of a mosaic style, which is really cool. Those bits of kind of broken up rock or tile or whatever that's pieced together to form the design. It says Marman playing cards across the top, standard edition 52 card deck at the bottom. And then in the center, you get our first look at the Marman himself. That kind of fish-like creature, kind of a cross between a fish and a mermaid, if you will. It's got the human arms, for example. But this one is a court jester. You can tell by the rings and the clown mask that he's wearing. So that's the first of, like I said, several that we're going to see. On the sides, you got created by P.F. Vanderberg. Mentioned his name a couple times already. Other side, made in the USA. These are printed by USPCC. And you see USPCC mentioned in the ad copy on the bottom, along with the nautical symbol of Vanderberg. It's that kind of sea creature who's spitting water back over his head. Pretty cool down there. And then at the top, you have standard size and 52. Nothing too special there. Back's going to be the back design of the cards, which we'll look at in a second. And it's finished out with a postage stamp style tuck seal, just a black tuck seal, again featuring that nautical symbol right in the center. So just a black and white tuck seal. A little bit more ad copy on the inner flap, but otherwise nothing printed on the interior at all. That's it's a pretty standard but bright and kind of fun tuck case. All right, but let's take a look at the cards, and we'll start with the back design. Here it is. It's all done in green and white. Has a very sort of classic feel right off the bat. A lot of little details that are kind of sprinkled in there, but a very clean design overall. The center design, this is the mysterious symbol of the Marman. Not much explanation about it, but you can see it there glowing in the center. And then all around the outside, you have a series of different symbols. You have the suns and moons, and then you have this two-tailed mermaid here. This is the Melusine. It's actually based on a French legend of a freshwater two-tailed mermaid. This is actually the same character that's featured on the logo of Starbucks. They use that two-tailed mermaid as well. And that fact, the mermaid with the green and white, gives this entire back design kind of a Starbucks feel to me. Not in a bad way, just really makes me think of Starbucks right off the bat. But then you have all throughout, kind of filling in the area, a bunch of coral as well as this kind of leaf work. Interesting mixing that leaf work in with the coral throughout there. But kind of the top left and bottom right corners have the leaves, and the other two corners have coral. And then you have this kind of squiggly line forming the border with flourishes almost looking like waves in one corner and the other. And then the other two have this whale, kind of a grotesque looking whale there on the other two corners. Finishes out with a medium white poker border. Not a bad design. It's a nice two-way back design. I like the little details in it. So all in all, pretty well done there. All right, extra cards you get a pair of jokers. They feature, once again, our jester friend from the front of the tuck case. One done in black and white. Have Joker in, well, it kind of looks like a Greek font to me, if you will. And then sand dollars featured in the corners. And then the other one is done in full color. So you have that green and orange. Very Aquaman kind of color scheme going on there. Very much looks like it was inspired by everybody's least favorite DC superhero. So there's your two jokers. Two other extra cards you get one card that kind of tells a little bit about the story of the Marman. Kind of continues on both sides. Pause if you want to read all the details of it, but just gives you a little bit of the mythology behind the Marman in general, and then features one there with a spear in hand, maybe going hunting. So there's that one. And then you get an ad card for P.F. Vanderberg, giving some of his social and telling a little bit about himself. And then Marman playing cards on the back. So there's your extra cards. Now into the rest of the deck. All right, Ace of Spades. Very large, kind of well embellished spade pip. So the large spade pip in the center. Again, that nautical mark for Vanderberg in the center. Marman playing cards and his copyright down there at the bottom. And then finished out with lots of flourishes and scroll work and banners and ribbons flowing all the way around. Kind of has the feel of a generic Ace of Spades that he might use on a lot of future decks, as opposed to one that was specifically for Marman playing cards, but has a nice look to it overall. You get a slightly custom sort of angular font for the index in the corner, and a very slightly, maybe a little bit more rounded pip. The pips otherwise, other than that slight customization, are pretty standard as we go through the number cards, all done in black. Nothing too special on the layout or anything. And then you get to the court cards, and these drawings of the court cards were what really kicked off the whole deck. So still done in that green, orange, and yellow color, but they all feature images of some of the Marman characters, these kind of green fish people. I like the design. It's definitely very familiar layout for a classic court card, but obviously completely redone, not just in the coloring, but you can see all these details like the whales in the clothing of the jack over here. They're holding different implements in their hands, like this curved dagger that the Queen of Spades is holding, maybe an assassin or something like that. Their headdresses, I love the looks and the unique feels of their headdresses, whether it's these kind of fanned out or this really interesting blocky pattern on the King of Spades. So very interesting court cards, bright, vibrant colors all the way through. So there are the first of the court cards. The red cards, the diamonds and the hearts, are swapped out into this kind of orange color, matching with what we've seen on the rest of the deck. So very, very bright colors on the diamond number cards, but otherwise, again, pretty standard. And then into the diamond courts. So more the same, maybe a little bit lighter on these. And again, nice little touches like the bag of sand dollars in the Queen of Diamonds hands. Now, the one thing that kind of bugs me, to do a few of these court cards that are facing forward, you can see these really kind of weird looks to the faces. I know that's because they're fish people, and so fish are not usually kind of rounded heads like humans, and so looking at head on is a very kind of bizarre look to it, with that really skinny face. So know what he's going for. It's just a little bit jarring to see those pop up. So there's the 3 diamond courts, and then into the clubs. Queen of Clubs is another one of those skinny head ones. And then through the club number cards, Ace of Clubs, and then into the heart quartz. Like the coral in the Queen's hand there, or the kind of forked spear for the Jack of Hearts. And you do get a suicidal king with the King of Hearts, very classic, although instead of the sword going through his head, it's going right into his chest instead. And then down through the heart number cards and finishing with the Ace of Hearts. So that is the deck. As far as handling, they're on a nice crushed stock. Very, very nice handling right out of the box. It's what we've come to expect from USPCC. They fan and handle really beautifully, and I love that it's done on a nice crushed stock. Gives it a very thin feel, great handling overall. So no complaints on that front. As far as uses of the deck, I think it's a highly functional deck for sure. There's lots of little details to enjoy as a collector. Certainly the Tuck case, in terms of highly collectible decks, is maybe a bit on the underwhelming side. but the cards themselves, you break them out, they're a fun, highly functional deck that you can also enjoy some of the details of. So I think gameplay would really, be well suited for this one. Certainly usable enough for Magic. They handle well enough to use for cardistry as well. But using these for gameplay, I think, is going to be really where this is at. So that's it. That is the look at the Marman playing cards from P.F. Vanderberg. I'll put a link down in the description where you can go check these out if you're interested, if you like what you see. They are definitely still available. Definitely glad I picked one up. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what other decks you want to see. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings, and I'll see you for the next one.